There is a type of person who cares about others and always responds to everything. Yet they are labeled as the most indifferent people. This is because they are very good at acting and disguising. On the surface, they seem very gentle and get along well with everyone, but in reality, they are very clear-headed. In relationships, if they sense any imbalance or disappointment, they immediately start distancing themselves from the other person and set up a protective barrier for self-preservation. Therefore, when you date them, you might feel very tired at first because they never fail to contact you, and they might even make you feel distant and evasive. In fact, these are just their ways of self-protection. Once they recognize you, they will cherish you immensely and can selflessly give. They consider everything from your perspective and provide comprehensive support, willing to give you anything, and are very willing to compromise and concede. Such people are known as INFJs in the MBTI 16 personality types, also called advocates. In their world, there are only two types of people: those they care about and those they don't. They are extremely demanding in relationships and have a strong sense of spiritual purity, longing for an ideal soulmate. Once you are acknowledged by them and enter their intimate circle, you will experience their extremely intense love. Why do such people develop this personality? Simply put, the formation of an INFJ personality is due to having a highly controlling or emotionally unstable caregiver in their original family. For example, a very controlling mother who likes to interfere in the child's life, often under the guise of, "it's all for your own good," ignoring the INFJ's true thoughts and forcing them to do things they are not interested in. If the INFJ resists, the mother would dramatize her own suffering and morally coerce the child from a high moral ground. Growing up in such an environment, the INFJ has to give up their unvalued personal emotions to survive and become a tool that can cater to others' needs at any time. What does this lead to? From a young age, they believe their true self is unimportant, and they must abandon their own needs and cater to their mother's preferences to survive. This is different from INFPs. Although INFPs might also grow up in controlling and suppressive families, they do not lose themselves. But INFJs gradually abandon their self-awareness in this process, and thus learn this survival mode. As they grow up, they develop multiple personalities, change their behavior patterns according to different people, habitually prioritize others' needs over their own, and have a weak sense of self, with little to no personal desires. The traits they exhibit include low desire, being easily morally coerced, and being tolerant of others. So you'll find that almost everyone enjoys communicating with INFJs because they can always transform into the soulmate who understands you best. They also provide highly practical advice based on your current situation. Another point is that their parents' emotions are unstable and can explode at any moment. They might be laughing and talking one second, and the next second they could be furious over a small matter, constantly belittling and criticizing the child. INFJs growing up in such chaotic family environments are mentally very conflicted because they don't know if their parents truly love them. Sometimes their parents try their best to take care of them but rarely engage with them spiritually. INFJs rarely hear direct praise or expressions of love from their parents, so they often find themselves trying to please their parents, hating the family, and wanting to escape. Yet, when their parents show a little kindness, they quickly forget the pain and fall back into the same pattern. This leads to INFJs being very complex and contradictory individuals. They are particularly prone to internal conflict and tension. They desire solitary freedom but cannot live without human warmth. They are particularly afraid of entering intimate relationships because their childhood experiences have left them somewhat fragmented. They long for someone to love and understand them, but don't believe anyone can truly love them unconditionally. They simultaneously crave an idealized soulmate and firmly believe they will be alone for life. You might think these people are rational, but they have a strong sense of altruism and unconsciously empathize with others' suffering. If you consider them emotional, they have a profound clarity about the world, seeing through many things so clearly that it's hard for them to get carried away. For INFJs, they are not inherently cold inside. Rather, their past experiences make it difficult for them to actively and optimistically form relationships. The subtle sense of detachment they project is a habitual self-protection mechanism developed from enduring strong external interventions. You could say that anyone who thinks INFJs are cold or indifferent simply hasn't truly entered their inner world. INFJs don't care about these people and won't easily give to them. But once you truly reach an INFJ's inner world, they will love you in a way that burns themselves out. Is that clear? INFJs appear highly rational, but are actually emotionally rich and sensitive. To have a good relationship with such a person, you must be sincere. You need to accept them fully and respect and appreciate them. Otherwise, they will quietly deduct points from you and then leave without looking back. Are you following? If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your free likes are the greatest encouragement for me. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.